Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Sound Design. So originally I had planned to release this lead like a month ago, but I totally forgot about it and got caught up with more big room house stuff. So today I was going through my sounds that I have. I have a folder for all my individual sounds, and I saw this one and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I haven't made a tutorial on this, which I'm sure many of you guys are very fond of the Gecko song. It's a very simple song. It's a deep house song. And it's a great track. Deep House is making a comeback, and good for them. So this is how it's gonna sound like. So I'll try and play it in different octaves. Higher octave. Alright guys, so if you want to learn how to make this sound, make sure to stick around. We'll go through the synthesis of it. If you just want to download the preset, you can go on my Facebook page at facebook.com/SemWorldMusic. Also, I would like to mention that we released another sound bank for free on the evolution of sound. This time it was made by YouTuber Casade. He made a Spire sound bank that I'm sure many of you guys are going to love. So if you want some free sounds, make sure to go like the Facebook evolution of sound page. The description links will be in the bottom. So without further ado, let's get started in creating this sound. Alright guys, so I've been making a lot of big room house stuff, and I thought, maybe it's time for a change. I'm still going to be doing big room house sounds. The problem with big room house right now is that a lot of the times there is no synthesis involved with the artist. What they start doing is they start just browsing through synth shots and, percussive shots and shit like that, and they make their tracks out of them. So for me, it takes the fun out of, synthesis just to go on and look for samples. I mean, don't get me wrong. For some of my tracks, I do look for samples, but mainly I try to use samples like percussive samples for like my hi-hats and stuff, not my synthesized sounds. But, everyone works differently. So that's my rant. Now let's get started. So the Gecko sound isn't really that hard to create. It's just, it's just being smart about the type of sounds you're going to be incorporating. So what we're going to be doing today is just very simple synthesis. I'll explain through what's going on. So first, oscillator 1, we're going to apply the grown 3 from the analog/electric section. I haven't made a massive tutorial, so I'm going to be really specific with this. So the way massive works is to wavetable synthesis. And wavetable synthesis, pretty much what it is, it's just like Spire. You have different types of wavetables. Each one has their own characteristic, and they're all emulated from some sort of sine, supersaw, tri-saw, and so forth. So they all come from those general main waves, and these are just changed. So each wave is going to sound a little bit different, but they're going to sound similar to some of those saw, but it's just going to have a different feel to it, a different character. So that's the way massive works. And the reason massive is a really great synth is because you have, honestly, like you can do so much with it if you get really creative with your selection of wavetables. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower the pitch down by -12, which technically just means we're going to be lowering it down by an octave. Wavetable position is going to be set to 3, but honestly, you can have it anywhere around here and it won't really affect the sound that much. But if you're picky, you can always move it. Intensity is going to decide how strong the sound is coming out, and it all depends on your wave as well. Different waves, the intensity controls different things in the wave, like how hard it hits or maybe the phase. So that's going to be your intensity knob, and we're going to have it at 3 o'clock, and we're going to put the amp a little bit before, you're going to put it all the way up, and you're going to take it back a little bit right before you hit 3 o'clock. And then we're going to route this up to filter 1. So if you have it all the way down, that's being routed to filter 2. And when it's up, it's being routed to filter 1. Now in oscillator 2, we're going to put another grown 3. But this time, and this is the key to creating this sound, is we are going to put the pitch at 7. A lot of tech house sounds really weird, and like in the sense of that their melodies seem a little weird, but it's really or deep house, my bad. And it's just, it's just the chords that are being played. Whenever you make a sound, in order to save yourself time so you don't have to be playing those 2 notes at the same time, you just put it in the synthesizer if you have more than 3 or 4 oscillators at your disposal. So that's what we're doing here. We're putting the pitch at 7, and pretty much what's going on is this oscillator is playing, let's say, one voice, and this oscillator is playing one voice, but when you click the G, you're getting this sound at 7, so it's like you're playing 2 notes at the same time, so you're creating some harmony. See, if we were to have this at 0, it loses its catchiness. Alright, so grown 3, we're going to put this up to 7.00. Wavetable position at 2 o'clock. You don't want it the same wavetable position as this one. Intensity at 3 as well, and amp all the way up for this one, since this is going to be our top layer for this sound. Next, we're going to go into oscillator 3. We're going to be using the color wavetable from the FX/chord section. And this is just going to add a little bit of brightness to the sound. So we're going to put this up by a pitch of 24, so it's going to be really loud. It's going to be like a very, very top layer, which is barely going to be heard. Wavetable position all the way up, intensity all the way up, and amp is at 2 o'clock. And we're going to route this up to filter 1. So they're all going to filter 1. We're not doing any parallel filtering in this tutorial. But pretty much what parallel filtering is that you have your sound go through 2 different types of filters. So it's going to go to filter 1 and then it's going to come out of filter 2. And you're going to have 2 filters in between the sound and the amp. We're not going to be putting any white noise. Doesn't really do much for us unless you want to add that clicky noise, but that's up to you guys. If you want to add it, just put some white noise, color all the way up, and just move the amp, and that's all on you guys. No feedback. Next, we're going to be applying a shaper and a sine shaper, and it's just another type of distortion, honestly, and we're going to add some drive with that. So we're going to put the drive on like around 8 o'clock, and we're going to add some drive up to 12. And this is another key to the song. It's going to give it that character. It's going to make it sound a little bit more greedy. So this is a must. I mean, if you take it off, you can hear the difference. This is kind of making it more in your face. Next, we're going to go into filter 1 and apply a low pass 4 filter. Low pass 4 and low pass 2, they're not different. The only difference is that low pass 4 covers more sounds and low pass 2 covers less. So we're going to put the cutoff all the way down and resonance down. We're going to put this up, this is the volume of the filter. Next, what we're going to do is we're pretty much approaching the end of creating our sound. We're going to go into envelope 4, which is pretty much our amp envelope. This is routed to our amp, as you can see right here. So pretty much what we're going to do is lower the attack level all the way up, which is going to tell the sound to come out instantaneously at max volume. Our decay is going to stay at 12, but we're going to lower our sustain down. So this sound isn't going to have, you're not going to be able to hold the note and just keep playing the sound forever. The sound goes away once you hold it down. Like, it just plays and it goes back down. So this is where this is coming through. We're going to add a little bit of release to 11 o'clock, and all release is doing is giving it a tail, giving the sound a little bit more of a tail. So then we're going to go into envelope 1, which we're going to route to our filter 1. As you can see, we put the cutoff all the way down, so there's no sound coming out if you play a note. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretty much route the sound through the filter, and the reason we're doing it this way is because whenever you route a sound through a filter, the sound is getting the characteristic of the filter. So as the cutoff is opening, the sound is going through that filter and it's getting character. So that's the main purpose of this, if you're wondering why we did it 2 times. So in envelope 1, we're going to have our attack all the way down in our level, pretty much a little bit before the end, just lower it. Decay is at 12, and we're going to put our sustain a little bit at 9 o'clock. And we're going to put our release all the way up to 3. And pretty much all we're going to do is drag this into here. It's going to look like this. And you're going to click it, pull up all the way. And pretty much that's it. Next, we're going to go into the voicing section. And our voicing section is pretty much like where we get to choose whether you want the song to be polyphon, monophon, monorate, and so forth. This is where you apply some detunement as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put unisono 2. So what pretty much that's stating is that 2 voices are being played per oscillator. Our mono rate is going to be on. So this is going to be a monosong, so you can only play 1 note at a time. Our pitch cutoff is going to be set to a value of 1 here. And pretty much this is going to be our detunement. Or our spread, as you can say. And like I've mentioned before, whenever you detune saws, you're pretty much detuning, like spreading the saws apart a little bit. And that's what creates that effect of a super saw. So we're going to put the pitch cutoff on, and we're going to put the knob all the way around here. And then we're going to turn our pan position on, and we're going to make this sound mono. Okay, so finally we've approached pretty much the effects section. We're going to put a dimension expander. Our drying weight is at 9 o'clock, and our size around 9 o'clock as well. What a dimension expander does is it makes the sound kind of cover a broader stereo field. So whenever you want a huge sound, you can use a dimension expander. You can call it another sausage fattener if you want. It's just not as strong, you could say. And next, we're going to apply a chorus. Our drying weight's going to be around 12 o'clock, our rate around 12, our offset around 12, and our depth of how much is going to be at 10. It's right here. And finally, we're going to be applying a low shelf. Pretty much what a low shelf does is anything you set the frequency to. So let's say our frequency here says 400. If we decrease our low shelf, everything below 400 is going to be decreased. If we increase our low shelf, everything below 400 is going to increase. And our high shelf is just the opposite of that. So our low shelf is going to be set to around 11 o'clock. Our boost is set to around 1 o'clock. Our frequency is set to around 1. And our high shelf is set to around 1 as well. So finally, once we have that, we're pretty much done with the sound. We're just going to increase the master a little bit, and we should be getting the sound from Gecko. And I forgot to mention, we do have a modulation here, so let's get that out of the way as well. So here's our modulation oscillator. Pretty much what the modulation oscillator does, it applies certain types of modulation to your oscillators here. So we're going to choose oscillator 2 here. We're going to put the pitch at 12, and we're going to turn the RM to around 1 o'clock. Our phase for oscillator 1, 12, and our phase is at 9. So pretty much that should be it. And pretty much we're done with the sound, guys. So make sure to like my Facebook page at facebook.com/SemWorldMusic. Like the Evolution of Sound page, guys. We have big plans for that. And I'll see you guys next time.